Oh, hello, hello.
Okay, now Benji can introduce himself, and we're gonna get on with the game. The
Okay,
championship game.
think there might be another. Let me just take care of a few clerical Skype things for a
No,
second.
Benji, just introduce yourself.
Okay, so um, I'm Ben Schoenbrun. As Jessica said, my name is Benji. Um, I'm a player. I'm an expert player from the US. I've been playing for about 10 years, and I commentated on some earlier games with Jerry Carter. If you guys remember me from then, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the final game, and I'm looking forward to commentating it.
You may remember me from such commentaries as round 16 and round 15.
I wasn't commentating either of those rounds.
Yeah, I was. You may remember Benji from such commentaries as round 8.
Round 4 through 9. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to start watching this final game. It should be really exciting. Two great players. I've played both of them. I've played Harshan only online, but I've played Austin and when I went to play Causeway, and he made the most incredible play that anyone's ever played against me. You see a handshake from the players, and it looks like they're ready to go. So here we go.
All right, they're off and running and coming around the first corner.
Austin Shin
No, wait.
with the start. I don't think we can keep that up for 50 minutes.
Yeah, the horse race thing, it gets a little... We have to start talking about furlongs and leagues and hooves and... I don't know.
And the cue, 2-0 comes down for the first draw.
Well, that's not... That's hardly sporting.
Oh, it is a word. Oh, man, that's going to be a lot of points. Wow. That puts Harshan in a great position right from the start. Wow.
So yeah, Harshan, by making this play, earns a 50-point bonus for using all 7 of his tiles at the same time. Those 50-point bonuses are often very useful because the player who gets the most points ends up winning the game.
Correct. Games are often decided by these 50-point bonuses, and 50 is a lot of points.
Yes, most turns are between 25, 30, 35 points, so having a 50-point bonus can really increase your score by 50 for that turn.
And it's appropriately called a bonus because you get a bonus of 50 points.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how the U.S. people came up with the term bingo.
Americans tend to call it a bingo because they shout out bingo at the top of their lungs after each time they get a 50-point bonus.
Which is very inappropriate when they're behind by about 200 and they play their out bingo.
Yeah, it's required in
America.
Perfect
system. It's not a perfect system.
If you don't yell bingo, you don't get the 50 points, which is an old rule left over from the days when players would play in the New York City game room, and it would be very loud, and somebody else would be keeping score to make sure that there were no shenanigans because money was on the line. So you had to yell bingo to make sure that the person keeping score knew to add the 50 points to your total for the play.
So what we like here for Austin?
Let's see.
I probably would want to keep things pretty open.
Yeah, buck maybe.
I'm looking at bracket.
Yeah, would Buckra keeping the M to hook it make any sense?
BUKRA or BUCKRA?
BUCKRA takes an M in the back and you're holding an M. I don't know.
That makes some sense. People are talking about Mayor Buck, which is unfortunately not a word.
Yeah, that.
I think that's what Austin is considering here.
Mayor Buck would be a transgender horse. I don't understand what it's supposed to be. Yeah, Quackle's saying parallel play, playing Kerma is going to be clearly by far the most points.
Kerma?
Yeah,
that's a lot of points.
But he plays Buck, which is going to give you the best leave. You're going to have to draw into some stuff to hook it underneath, but it takes, Bucku. So it still leaves things pretty open, starts to develop the board in a way. And if you draw the right things, maybe you could even hit the double lane that you've opened.
And it looks like Harshan is continuing to rain down horrible things upon Austin.
Yeah.
At least Austin has one back this time.
Harshan blocks Austin's double.
Yeah. Austin will have to settle for probably about 90 here. I haven't added up the score, but he'll just play homage or
slotting the H is going to be fine. And so Austin will still be behind by, mid
60-ish.
Behind by a bingo.
Rough start for him.
But it's workable. It's workable.
Oh yeah, it's not over yet. It's still plenty of Scrabble left to be played. It's only 2 turns in. Though I have had games end after 2 turns. My opponent will Vingo, they'll Vingo again, and I'll have a rack of a bunch of vowels, and that'll be that.
Well,
thankfully that's not what this is.
How are you supposed to know when your opponent opened Savkaz with the S on the star that they would then draw Liquefy?
So, of note, Hermitage plays through.
Doesn't fit. It needs 3 between the I and the E. I already looked.
No, it fits through the T and Tuzier and.
Oh, fits through the T and the E.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was looking through the I and the E and saw Hermitage. I'm like, it doesn't fit, but
it does, but it's also worse.
It does, yeah.
So I think the best play is pretty cheesy.
Yeah, just play
cheesy and homagers.
Unless you or you can bingo. That would be probably a better play.
Oh yeah, there's another Vingo. Harshan going for his second national championship. I believe this would be Austin's first. So if Austin manages to win this, he'll be this will be his first national championship. Will we see that?
Yep.
Harshan won this long ago in 2004. Makes a great play of Yetchius, which gets 90 plus 5 more for a challenge. Yeah. If you're unsure of the word, as many people often are, you can challenge the word, and if it turns out not to be a word, it comes off the board and the player loses their turn. But if it stays on, the player gets a 5-point bonus.
This game is ridiculous. Austin now has Wayfarer for like 110.
Yeah, this game is really absurd. I can't believe this.
Like, what? What is going on?
I mean, it's exciting, but we'll see how long these fireworks keep going on. I'm glad that we don't have your idea of a crazy confetti cannon after every play.
We definitely need a confetti cannon, but we need a team to reload them. Wayfarer is 100 even. Yeah.
That team would be earning their keep. There have been 5 bingos this game already. Incredible.
Kaboom! 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 After playing King's Cup, I found confetti in my bag for like a year afterward.
And there's going to be another bingo this next turn. Unrotten through the E.
Well, I'm glad they're keeping up.
It looks like they're discussing a rules thing. We'll let that resolve itself. I think Harshan wants to challenge.
The clock is paused.
We'll let you know how this goes once we'll get back to you once we figure this all out.
Yeah.
So, in any case, super exciting so far. There have been fireworks in this game appropriate for the final game of Nationals. In this case, I believe the correct ruling is that since Austin has not drawn tiles yet, Harshan is allowed to challenge, but we'll wait for our director to make an official ruling on that.
Yeah, it probably should be it should probably be an actual director and not just the two of us.
Yep. So we have a ruling. Harshan was allowed to challenge Wayfarer, and it is a word, so Austin will get an extra 5 points. Okay, so we'll see if Harshan finds his bingo here. And it looks like the cue has been picked up as well as the second bunny, as Chris would put it.
Yep, but the bunnies are out running around, and the bunny and the anchor together.
Looks like Harshan has just spotted his bingo, and he's slapping it down. Oh, it looks like there was a better one. Not tourney. Wow.
Yeah, not tourney.
First real error of the game. It's probably about a 16-point error.
Well, I mean, if Harshan can draw another bingo after this, then the error might not matter that much.
Now,
it just depends on.
He's not made a play that is not a bingo yet, and this game is still going on. This game is not over yet.
Yeah, he's opened with 4 bingos in a row, and is over 300 points 4 turns in, and also is being double blanked.
and also, he's probably only about 75% to win this game at this point. Maybe a little bit more. So, what do you like here? What's your goal for this turn?
I like pretending that the Q is the third O and then playing a bonus. Because Ironwood would play if but you're gonna have to do some work scratching the tail off the Q in order to get that to happen. Yeah,
I don't think that Austin has that much time on his clock that he can afford to do that. Probably.
Yeah, the tiles.
So the really neat thing about these tiles is that they're dipped in. I don't know exactly how they're made, but they're made so that you can't actually feel the letters, because that's a very easy way that players could cheat otherwise. So Dow comes down. That's probably what I would have played. Quackle prefers Quode a little bit. from trying to see where that plays.
Through the U. No, that's terrible.
No, there's
That was
another
the play.
60.
Using the blank?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I play quad through the... Yeah, don't do that. It's not going to help you win.
For 60 points?
Like,
that's a lot of points.
Yeah, but Dow is 40.
Dow is 40. You're also getting rid of your Q, and it's not completely unreasonable that you might bingo again. There are still 3 S's out.
There's a floating U, and you're holding a blank. Like, don't worry about the Q.
It is causing him
Don't play quad. And quad does weird things to the board, too. Like, it's going to be awkward.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I like Dow. I don't like quad.
Harshan trying to figure out how to play with this clunky rack. I don't know if he knows what to do when he can't bingo. Wait, these aren't bingo tiles.
What's... Well, there are some 9s. They're not going to fit, but he's probably finding them since Sully's playing your bingos.
I see some. I see some quotes in the chat about Aliyah as a possibility. What do you think about that play? It gets rid of 2 of these A's and also scores.
Yeah, Aliyah's probably pretty reasonable. What else? What else would you do?
Probably not much. Maybe something like Oka. That doesn't leave very well, though. If you want to keep things, I don't think Oka really accomplishes anything.
Yeah, scoring 24 and cleaning the rack. Yeah, you just play Aliyah. There's not really another option. Once you see it, it's so strong. Like maybe maybe you play Aka with the K.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Harshan is a huge fan of opening all that stuff up with Aliyah, but I think it's necessary here. You're not gonna have a closed board in this game.
The A is bingo string with A aren't. It's not a.
Yeah, it's not.
Huge
it's not a foregone conclusion.
And there's so much else that's open. That's the least of your worries.
Yes, I agree. I think you should just play Aliyah here.
And I mean, plus you can play parallel row 2 underneath it and then seal off that quadrant. So it's if you do want to start to shut things down and restrict bingo lanes, Aliyah is fine in the way that it not immediately restricts, but in the way it develops the board for a good potential to restrict.
I think he's looking at LA, which is the same idea as Aliyah, except I think just a little bit worse.
Right,
you're
going to
want to be playing off that extra vowel.
You want to move the vowel, get a more balanced leave. You want to take the extra 3 points. All these things. Quackle suggests also Acarian.
That gets rid of all 3 A's, but you don't
through the
really
C in the end, which is really clever. It keeps LO. That's more balanced leave, not giving up too many points.
Actually, closes off a whole lot. Actually,
yeah, it starts to weird the board pretty intensely. If he sees that play, that might be the sort of play that Harshan would make.
Yeah, I kind of like that actually.
To see.
It's a really interesting play. It's interesting. It's just they're so different, Aliyah and Akari, and I think Aliyah is just a standard play here, but the other play might be more of what Harshan wants to do right now. He is ahead.
Ralia. Okay.
I think this is pretty similar to Akari.
It's another.
Oh, he's still thinking.
Yeah, I mean, Auralia and Auraria, like these things accomplish like the same things. They just score less than
they just do it a little
or
worse. So
same
idea, just executed a little bit worse. Austin instantly plays Cliff. Seems very standard here.
Yep. Not much else to say about it. Just cash the Q, save the blank, all this stuff.
Or some points. If you draw U, you'll have coin.
If if it matters, you're not putting him Harshan on a U after Auraria. It may not matter. It's hard to infer a U, whatever. Harshan's tiles are on the table in front of him, so we don't know what they are yet.
But we do know what Austin's tiles are. It looks like he picked up something quite nice.
Yeah, the scoring is going to continue.
Scoring never stops.
And
we're
going to have a game.
Yeah, the scoring really does not stop this game. And if you're Harshan right now, you can't be happy. Until once he plays his bingo, you will not be happy. You open with 4 bingos this game. You would think that you're probably going to win this game pretty easily after that, but Austin and the tile bag seem to have other plans. He's going to have to work for it if he wants it.
No, he's going to be the Austin's bingo is going to bring in basically even-ish. Harshan's up 40. Harshan's up 40 Harshan's up 40 right now. He's going to cash the X for, Yeah,
I kind of like playing it there.
So that takes out the higher scoring spot for Austin's bingo, and Austin's down to 80. He's still going to be behind. He's still going to be behind after he makes this play.
Yeah, Harshan's defensiveness is going to pay off here. If he played it,
playing Lex there and blocking the S hook is pretty standard, I think.
Probably is.
Of all the places to play Lex, that's the one.
Yeah, Austin's gonna have a tough time now. The best place the best place for his bingo looks to be hooking unless there's some crazy triple that I haven't seen.
No, there's nothing. And obviously nothing with the Q.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just probably going to be Atonia's and Ez.
Scores about 70. 72. Oh no, it's 71. I'm sorry, 70. Anosmia plays there as well. Hooking Ez and DO and MI and the A. It scores 1 more point if Austin spots that. It's got 4 overlaps.
So what does Harshan do in response? Eggy is an option. You want to move one of the A's if you can.
You definitely want to get rid of those G's as soon as possible.
Yeah, any play you consider is gonna move the G's.
Well, you could consider a play that's moving just one of them, like Agley.
Egal down in the bottom. That probably scores less than Aglai, yeah.
Aglet plays, but I'm not a fan of that.
Gargle through Auraria.
That's not bad.
I don't know. There's ways.
Probably not quite worth it, but Rag with just playing Rag, keeping TALE. Is that a word? Or am I making up another phony 4? No, it's a word. And Atonius comes down as predicted.
Yeah, from the chat, Quinn asks about Lex next to Wayfarer. I think especially, given what we know about Harshan's playing style, I think it's going to be pretty. That's clearly the sort of play he's going to make. He tends to, be a very restrictive player, defensive kind of player, and also, with a lead like that, he's going to try and do things that decrease that make the scoring stop, which is the interesting concept of this match. The scoring doesn't stop versus stop the scoring.
So he can play Gleg now, parallel to Atonia is inserting Ego. No, never mind.
Is he looking at Eggy?
I think he is. I almost was like, is he looking at Eggplant? But no. Is there an Eggplant emote in Twitch? I know there's an emoji for it.
As far as double A leaves go, AALT is like not bad. Because the AL has some good synergy, and double A is reasonably not bad. The leave evaluator has AALT is like a minus 0.6. So it's a slightly negative leave, but it's actually not that bad. And,
all right, Twitch chat. I need you guys to spam thank egg.
But so yeah, that leave is only like 3 or 4 points worse than like GATE or something like that. So leave-wise, it's not a huge sacrifice. As it were, it blocks Jury, which would have been a pretty huge
play. But Austin's still going to have Jural parallel to Homager. That's going to be a pretty huge play as well. And yes, I think he's going to play that quite quickly. It's pretty clear favorite here, and Austin is going to take the lead for the first time this game.
Wow. This is quite the barn burner. Like how even Harshan opens with 4 bonuses in a row. And then Austin comes back and finally takes the lead. It's pretty incredible.
And now Harshan wants to go fishing with this rack because he has a fish on his rack. I don't see a place to play that fish, though. The fish, of course, being tilapia.
Tilapia, does it go anywhere though?
Does not look like it goes anywhere.
No like crazy underlap or anything, and nothing with tilapia with the Q, with the U. That's difficult. Difficult position. After all the dust is settled and the scoring appears to be stopping, there's actually very few places to fit 7 contiguous tiles. You're looking at air balls to the I in Auraria, or something through the U in Unrotten, or a Q bingo.
Yeah, the thing about all these bingos is they've exhausted the board now, and there's just not really much else to do with it.
Mm-hmm. For what it's worth, there's 13 in the bag. Austin's ahead by 8, but with Harshan on turn, we'd still consider Harshan to have a tempo lead, because his next play will put him in the lead by a number of points.
Someone in the chat suggests playing Tilapia and Pun Rotten, or Eggy Tilapia and Pun Rotten, which discards my puns. And also rambling to the chat about how this game could have been different if Harshan played Nocturni. There would have been a lot more open, and Auraria might not have been played at all.
Right. Yeah, at the very least, there would have been less likely that something came down the way it did to exhaust the upper right quadrant. Unrotten being in the I column, it sets up that H4 square across as something to play on. I mean, yeah, the consonant was next to it. Auraria didn't score that much, but that sort of play might be less likely if Nocturni had gone down, and as the tiles fell, certainly.
So on Austin's side, I'm sure he has a bingo lined up, which doesn't look like it plays either. I'm sure he really wishes that there was an H available. That wouldn't just be so fitting for Austin to win the national championships by playing Shinbone.
That would be pretty spectacular.
Also talk in the chat of trying Pinta, hoping to fish for Kibla, playing it over Auraria. I just feel like that doesn't score quite enough. I don't know if you're Harshan, you need to do something like that at this point.
I don't feel like the situation is that dire for Harshan. It's easy. It's easy, especially when your opponent you had a big lead and your opponent comes back and hits some bingos and all of these things. It's easy to kind of go on tilt and think things are worse than they actually are. And I always find in a situation like this to, okay, stop, look at the score. Like, what is the actual game position? Austin has scored so many points so quickly that Harshan probably feels like he's behind by a lot, but he's behind by 8. Like, he's actually in a reasonably good position here, and doesn't need to do something crazy. I mean, it's clever to hold the tiles to, try to hit the B for Kibla. And there are certainly plays that do that, but I wouldn't give up a lot of points to do that, only because you're on a closed board and it's a really close game, and you need to remember that you're not trying for a Hail Mary at this point. You're just trying to, make higher percentage plays to score decently, and then you should be fine.
So Quackle's suggestion here seems very strong. Paire. It's the best equity play, and it's also quite defensive. Doesn't open anything, doesn't get anything crazy.
Yeah, scores well, keeps AILT, which is super relieved from this rack. It does happen to keep the tiles needed for Kibla, which is a side benefit, I guess. But yeah, pair next to Wayfarer, pair with the E seems pretty strong. Pale
So-
Pale accomplishes a similar thing in that it blocks the bingos through the eye. It also blocks the U, so there's no bonus happening after this.
Harsh, we hear from the chat, Harshan is getting pretty low on time. This is a pretty tough move. He's down
Yeah,
to-
Harshan's under. Yeah, he's under 5 minutes now. So, yeah, hopefully it won't affect his play. But we have seen that happen before.
And now what you do if you're Austin? You're basically in the same position that Harshan was in last turn.
Right, you're down a tempo-ish, but it's still a really close game. And yeah, you have Austin's holding the mouse. It is not the case mouse. You can't do any sort of kamikaze-esque setups.
This is what I was looking at. What he just played. Boars. It just scores so many points.
Yep. And I think that's the way this game is going to be decided. Is from here on out is whoever can find good scoring non-bingo plays. Stuff like boars. That's probably going to be it. Whoever can grab a tempo lead into the end game is almost certainly going to win.
Looks like Quackle is pointing out Boar E, which is better. It's not that much better since the S is just so bad on this board, but you still would rather keep the S than the E here, I believe.
Yep. And Harshan blocked auditive, but he did draw the U. So,
the old classic block your own bingo play.
Yeah, but he drew the U, and so now he has some sort of big Q play.
Something like quite, or quite.
Quite, yeah, or even quited, leaving one in the bag.
That looks pretty strong.
So, wow, it's
this is coming down to it.
Coming down to the final racks. Like there was one in the bag. Harshan has a small lead. This is incredible. This is incredible stuff.
So there are two V's out, which maybe Harshan's undoing, depending on what happens. There's one nice one with Evo.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It, just statistically, sort of as an heuristic, if Harshan has the tempo going into the end game, leaves one in the bag. If he can pull it out in two, then if he can go out first, he's going to win. If Austin can make a long play here and then pull the last tile and pull an out play, he might have a shot to win. From here, it looks like it's going to be whoever empties the bag, whoever goes out first is likely to, have that tempo and be the next UK national champion.
So one thing that Harshan has, depending on what Austin does, he can play Diva through Lemon and Atonia. That's going to score a ton and will probably be enough to win him the game.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Making Lit and Evo. And yeah, if he can cross the V there, that'll be pretty impressive. That'll be a really good score.
Leaves VT on his rack. Do you see any outplays with that?
Let's see. And Austin doesn't know this, but we know that, and the chat has pointed out that Harshan left the S in the bag.
Wow.
So yeah, Diva is going to score a lot, and then it's going to leave VIT. And VIT. Does it play out?
And the other question is, can Austin play out after a play of FENI, which is what it looks like he's setting up here? I would think that he can. He's gonna have
with the
yes after that.
Whatever there ought to be.
Is Austin going to become the national champion?
I like knowing that the S is in the bag. Yeah, if he plays Fenny and draws the S, and then Diva goes down. Well, let's do the math. 35 for Fenny. That puts him at 82. Diva, that's 37, which would put Harshan at 503 to 482. Put Harshan ahead by 21, and Austin would have NETS and would be getting 6. So Austin would need 15 to tie and win the national title with NETS. And notes like underneath Auraria is plenty.
Yeah, wow.
That sequence is amazing, and Harshan will, if that sequence happens, Harshan will lose with a 503. This is an incredible game. This is
very fitting of a last game. We'll have to see what Austin decides to do. He doesn't know that the S is in the bag, and he's. Other sequences you think of?
So I wonder. Yeah, is there?
I could see another sequence. He could just play Neff, and then he has Stein as his last rack. But we don't have to discuss all of this. This is coming down.
Yeah, Austin has to play Fenny because he doesn't know that Harshan doesn't have the S. Like Neff is, opens up the S that is actually in the bag. So now, is there something Harshan can do to block notes as a high scoring out? Like, are there other things?
No, because Austin will just play Sent at the bottom and win easily.
Sent.
Parallel to Atonia's.
Yeah. That
Austin
scores
has
16. It scores 16, which is a little less. There's no good V play at the top of the board, though, so it's not like you can score 40 and block notes and outrun Sent. Oh man, this is amazing. This is
really cool. Scoring never stops.
I mean, full marks to Harshan. Like, he played this really, really, really well. An attorney instead of unrotten is the only thing that maybe maybe there was a problem there. Pair instead of pale, it was, probably important, but it's not a giant miss. And anytime you can score 500 points, it's you're assuming you're going to win the game unless something really strange happens, and like something really strange happened. Like this.
Diva comes down, and we're about to see Austin win the national championship. All he has to do is play notes, and he will become the 2017 National UK Scrabble Champion.
Yeah.
Let's see if he finds this.
Does Sent actually score more now that Diva's down?
Evo not taking S?
That's 25. Evo, that spelling of Evo does. It means evening.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Okay.
So that's 25. Yeah, and up top it's 23. But either way, that's plenty.
Yeah, if you're even a little bit sure of any like Evos, then you just play tones or notes rather, and that's plenty. Don't play tones. Do not play tones if you're Austin.
Please don't play tones.
We already had
Please
that
do not
happen.
play tones.
We already had that happen at the U.S. Nationals one year.
So yeah, I mean,
Diva has not
it really
come
came
yet,
down
though.
to
Harshan is still thinking about this.
still thinking. Diva loses, and he can see that Diva loses, but it's hard because you can't see anything better.
Yeah, so
and,
he has hit his clock.
and that's it. That's it. And yeah, it really just came down to the draw after Quited. He left the S in the bag, and that was if he'd left a V in the bag, if he'd left, something weird in the bag, if he all kinds of other stuff he could have left in the bag and maybe pulled out the game. It actually came down to the final draw as to whether Harshan was going to score 500 and win or score 500 and lose. What an incredible final game.
Scoring never stops. That's all you can really say here.
Yeah, these full marks to Harshan for a game well played, but so many congratulations to Austin Shin. This has been it's been an amazing tournament run for him, and this final game was an amazing game to watch and commentate on, and I hope everybody watching has been as entertained by this as we have been.
I'm glad that I decided to jump in for this one. It's been great.
Yeah.
Not enough games go like this.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday,
all I was doing was commentating on games where one player was winning by 100, one player was winning by 200.
Yeah, I was watching, and it was just blowout after blowout, and we had some decent games earlier today, but nothing quite this dramatic.
There it is, and all he has to do is hit his clock. That's gonna do it.
That is it. And with that, it is official. Austin Shin is the 2017 UK National Scrabble Champion, winning the final round by a score of 517 to 504, as we have scored in Quackle. We'll see if they,
Right. We have to use British convention.
Yeah, they're using plus minus, so it'll actually be 511 to 498.
Austin could have been a Sporting Challenge Diva just to give him the hit over 500.
So yeah, officially in the scorebook 511 to 498 because as they do the plus minus at the end.
Depending
on an incredible
any clerical errors they may have made.
Still an incredible game.
One for the ages.